Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome back to Steelers Almighty Rant. I appreciate everybody being in here, man. I am well rested. I'm recovered from being out in Vegas. I slept about 12 hours after I got home yesterday. It wasn't all bad, people. It wasn't all bad after all my parlays and gambling at the table. I figured it all out. I was down $75. $75. So you can go to Vegas for 3 days and you can be down $75. I'll take it. I will absolutely take it. So to me, that's a win. That's a win. So appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for showing up, showing out. We got a lot to cover with the Steelers today, man. Aaron Rodgers is holding the Pittsburgh Steelers hijacked. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Mike Tomlin was super aggressive going after DK Metcalf. And, there's some talk out there on the reason why. We're going to discuss that a little bit. Should the Steelers go round one as far as a quarterback? We had our podcast that came out on Friday talking about that. We're going to discuss that a little bit too, because there's a lot of people that think that the Steelers, you all know how the rumor mill can be. And the rumor mill right now is the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to move back to draft a quarterback in the first round. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but we're going to talk about all of that and more. So I appreciate everybody being in here, man. Again, as always, you want to help support the channel, you know exactly how to do that. Super chats are wide open. So I appreciate everybody. If you want to get your question, rant, comment, all that up on the screen, you know how to do that. Appreciate you. Then also memberships. Memberships are available, people. Make sure if you want to sign up to become a member and help support our channel that way, make sure you do so. 5 different levels. We got the all 22 of the entire game film that we're breaking down in there, man. You guys will love that, as well as getting your questions answered directly by me in these lives. So appreciate everybody. Let's get into this. So Aaron Rodgers, that damn Aaron Rodgers, boy, I tell you what, he goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers facility. He's there the end of last week. 6 hours. Gets out of there without a deal. Doesn't make a deal. Don't understand how that happened. If the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted Aaron Rodgers to be there, and if Aaron Rodgers wanted to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, how the hell did he not sign a contract? How are you there for 6 hours and you don't sign a contract? One conspiracy theory is Aaron Rodgers went to find out what kind of leaks the Pittsburgh Steelers had within their organization. He went there and leaked out certain information that we haven't really heard, other than he was there. That's one conspiracy theory, is that Rodgers wanted to know, hey, what kind of leaks do the Steelers have? And my thinking is, if that is part of it, if that's one of the reasons he went to the Steelers immediately have to say, oh, okay, enough's enough. We're done. We're done. You're not going to come to our house and try to find out secrets and then tell us, oh, by the way, I was just throwing out some room to see what kind of leaks. I needed to test your organization. Well, you know what? You can test my ass and kiss it, Aaron Rodgers. Get the hell up out of here. Oh, my. I'm already past it, people, if you can't tell. I'm already past Aaron Rodgers, and he's not even on the damn team. I just don't know. Oh, I just don't get it. I just don't get what the hell is going on right now with all of that. Like I said, he had an opportunity to sign and he didn't. The Steelers had an opportunity to sign, and it seems like the Steelers are going to wait. Like, they're in no rush for Aaron Rodgers right now. They're like, hey, we got plenty of time. We don't have to have a quarterback right at this moment. You can't practice. You can't do anything right now anyway. So why are we rushing? Okay. Here's my take on it. You want to know my take? Last offseason, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I told you guys this from the beginning, the Pittsburgh Steelers were the side piece to Brandon Ayuk. That Brandon Ayuk treated us like the side piece. That, We're telling you we're going to leave our wife. We're promising you we're going to leave our wife. We love you. You know, my wife doesn't do it for me anymore. You know, all the things that a side piece wants to hear, only for the side piece to get jilted because the main woman, the wife, whatever, did whatever he was asking, which in Brandon Ayuk's case was giving him the contract he was looking for. Pittsburgh Steelers got cast aside. No more side piece. We have gone from that to now we're the woman that's begging. We're begging Aaron Rodgers at this point. We've gone from not just the side piece. That's bad enough. Now we're begging that he's left, and now we're begging you to come back. I'll do anything. I'll be the side piece. I'll be the number 2, the number 3 down the line. I'll be all of that. Just please don't leave me. Don't leave me. That's what the damn Pittsburgh Steelers have become. It is absolutely disgusting. I just don't understand what is going on. I really don't. But that's what we've become. Because now, look, I like Mason Rudolph, but I don't think there's any way that we go into the season with Mason Rudolph being the starting quarterback. Unless somebody gets hurt, God forbid, I just don't see that being the case. The Steelers aren't going to do that. They like Mason Rudolph. They think he's a good backup, but that's what Mason Rudolph is. We all know that. He's a backup quarterback. Okay, and that's fine. But now what? So, and look, apparently they've put a deadline out. You know, I've heard all this talk. I've seen the Steelers sites that apparently April 21st is the deadline for Aaron Rodgers to make a decision. Well, that's a month from now. He's got all this time because, you know, if you have Aaron Rodgers, you know Aaron Rodgers wants to do everything his way. You know, as far as his hand signals, you know, what he wants to guys to run and the audibles and checks and stuff at the line of scrimmage. He wants to be able to do all of that. Well, you have to get some work on the field if you're going to do that. Well, that would come with voluntary OTAs, you know, voluntary workouts. So if you come to the voluntary stuff, okay, he needs to be there to implement this stuff so you can get rolling. You know, he doesn't have 3 or 4 of his receivers that he's worked with for years like he did at New York, where, hey, you don't need to work on all those hand signals and stuff because he knows those guys. Well, he doesn't know DK Metcalf. He doesn't know George Pickens. He doesn't know Calvin Austin III or Roman Wilson or Scotty Miller or Skoranek or Pat Freiermuth or Washington. He doesn't know those guys. So he's got to get to know them. So you can't just do that at a training camp. I think he probably realizes that. And I think the Steelers probably realize that. So that's the soft deadline. Well, what if Aaron Rodgers doesn't make a decision by then? Then what? The draft is the week after that. And maybe the Steelers are going into this thinking, you know what? If Rodgers comes, we want him to be here. But if he doesn't, there's our deadline. We're going to draft a quarterback, and we're just going to roll with that, which a lot of people want anyway. I mean, I said that. A lot of you guys in the chat have said that. Is, hey, draft a guy, and let's just roll with that guy. Okay. You know, I'm not opposed to that. But if that's the case, then why bring Aaron Rodgers in? Why even talk about it? As much as I hate to say it, and as much as he's already on my nerves, Rodgers, if he's the quarterback, if he just plays decent, that's a good thing for the Steelers. You know, he doesn't have to be his former MVP self for the Steelers to be good. He just needs to be a pretty good quarterback. That's all. Just a pretty good quarterback. And the Steelers can win. And that might even be good enough to win a playoff game. Look, we didn't get that at the end of the season last year. The last 6 games, the quarterback play was horrendous. It was. Now, it wasn't all Russ's fault. Before anybody goes off the deep end, you know how I feel about that. I don't blame all the problems of the offense on any one person because it's not. It's just not. But it to me, if he just gives us decent quarterback play, we'll be better. And Rodgers is better than Wilson. He just is. I mean, anybody who doesn't believe that, you're crazy. He's better than him. So I, it just seems like the Steelers have just thrown away Russell Wilson. They have just absolutely said we are not bringing him back. They've seen enough. I guess. I mean, at this point, that's kind of where it is. Hell, if you're Russell Wilson, how do you even feel about that? It's like, yeah, they just cast me aside. They saw me play for a year. But Russell Wilson, at some point, maybe realization's got to come to fruition here. Seattle didn't want you anymore. Denver didn't want you anymore. Now the Pittsburgh Steelers don't want you anymore. You know, it can't always be everybody else. Sometimes it's you. You know, that's what Russell Wilson's got to come to the realization is that sometimes it's you. You know, so it's just it. I mean, I feel bad for the guy, I really do, because I think he could probably play somewhere. But think about if you're Russell Wilson, your choices are Cleveland or the New York Giants. Lord have mercy, have the mighty fallen. This is a guy that's probably going to the Hall of Fame, people. And at the end of his career, he's got to go to the damn Cleveland Browns or the New York Giants. Whew, brutal. But that's where we are. That's where we are with Aaron Rodgers and what he is doing to the Pittsburgh Steelers as far as holding us hostage. I think it's disgusting. I don't know. There's a couple of you in the chat that are saying, why do we need to pay for, a bridge quarterback? The Steelers have to spend the money anyway, guys. So it's not like, hey, if we don't spend this money, that they just get to keep it. They don't. They got to spend the money. So if you have to spend the money, I mean, what else are we going to get? We didn't go get anybody in free agency. Like, we didn't do that. So we didn't go get an offensive guard. We didn't do any of those things. A high price corner. So we got the money. And they're going to, before the season starts, they're going to, extend TJ Watt. So that's even more money on the salary cap. They probably will redo some contracts. So that's even more. The Steelers, the money's no issue. Because again, you have to spend 90% of the salary cap. And if you don't, that money gets paid out to everybody that's on the roster. So, I mean, you got to pay somebody. So you got to pay somebody. But I just know they're not going to go into the season with Mason Rudolph as the quarterback. They're just not going to do that. I can say, yeah, I think it's a good idea that they do. They're not. The only way that they would is if they draft a rookie and the rookie just doesn't get it. That's the only way. Or they're going to give the rookie time because Mike Tomlin doesn't like playing rookies. Not early. He hates it. So that's the only reason that Mason Rudolph would be the quarterback. But if they draft a rookie and that guy catches on quickly, he will be the starter. I mean, and it would only make sense that he's the starter. Otherwise, what are we doing? Like, what's the purpose? That's my whole thing. Like, what are you trying to get accomplished? But for me, I think that's kind of what it is that the Steelers are being held hostage by Rodgers. They're allowing themselves to be held hostage because they want Aaron Rodgers, which brings me to our second topic here tonight, people. Mike Tomlin. I believe that it's an Art Rooney II and a Mike Tomlin thing that they want Aaron Rodgers. I think both of them want Aaron Rodgers to be the quarterback of the Steelers. Okay. But Aaron Rodgers, there was no way that he was going to come to Pittsburgh with the current receiving core. He wasn't going to do that. Why would he do that? Didn't make any sense. So Mike Tomlin was vehement. We've never seen the Steelers make a move like this. Now, you could say it was Omar Khan, and maybe it was. Maybe it was probably both. But Mike Tomlin had to sign off on it. They went out and got DK Metcalf. Gave up a second-round pick. Paid him a ton of money. Okay, DK's here. George Pickens. Now, granted, he could still be a draft day trade, something of that nature. They could still do that. I don't think they will. I don't think they will at all because the Steelers can control George Pickens for at least 2 more years. And I think they very well are intended to do that. I honestly believe that. I don't think George Pickens is going anywhere, people. I think he's going to be a Steeler this year, and I think they're going to franchise him next year. And that's why they're talking about 2 years with Rodgers. They're trying to get whatever. I don't think Rodgers will be here 2 years, but I don't think Pickens is going anywhere. I really don't. I don't think he's going anywhere. And if that's the case, okay, fine. And that's why they got DK. They got George Pickens, Freiermuth. Whether you like Freiermuth or not, if given real opportunities, Freiermuth is still a really good pass catching tight end. He's that. If the offensive line just gives us average play, not great play, just average play, which is better than what it did last year, and you would have to think that those guys get better health with Faetanu, Mason McCormick, gets better. Frazier's there. Siamalu doesn't have the pec injury bothering him all year long. And if Broderick can just give you just average play at left tackle, if he can just do that, the Steelers' line will be better. I'm just saying. I know it's a lot of ifs, but it's things that can happen. It's not, hey, if I was a trillionaire, I'd never have to work again. No, it's not crazy things like that. It's just professional football players just playing average. That's all that it is. Guys that get paid to play football for a living, having those guys just play average. That's not asking a lot. It isn't. It's not asking a lot. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm throwing out there. And Mike Tomlin went after DK Metcalf so he could ensure that at least Rodgers would give us an opportunity. Now that all of Rodgers, supposedly, all his other options are down the drain, Mike Florio reported today, yeah, it's a safe bet that Rodgers is going to sign with the Steelers. He's just going to do it on his time frame. He's not going to have anybody push him to do it when they want him to do it. He's going to do it when he wants to do it. Okay. And right now, he doesn't have to have a decision made, And I know a lot of us, myself included, we're panicking. Oh, man, we don't have a quarterback. What are we going to do? Well, did we have a quarterback this time last year? I think we had Russell Wilson. He had just signed with us. There's plenty of teams out there that don't have quarterbacks, that they don't know who the starter is going to be. There's teams out there like that. And then they draft a guy. They got to back up. They figure it out. The Steelers will figure it out. We may not like the result. It may not be what we're looking for. But I think the Steelers will figure it out. And again, it's just Aaron Rodgers holds the cards right now. And the Steelers appear to be at his beck and call. Like I mentioned before, we're not the side piece this year. We were the side piece to Brandon Ayuk. This year, now or you could say we're still the side piece. He's left us, and now we're begging him to come back. We'll do anything. We'll be your second or third gal. That's fine. Whatever. Just don't leave me. Don't leave me. It's disgusting, people. Disgusting. Oh, can't believe we're in this situation. I cannot believe that we are in this situation. It is disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. So, Brother Man says that A-Rod is not the best option. I don't know what is. Like, what's the better option? It ain't Russell Wilson. So if that's what you think, you're wrong. So Russell Wilson is not a better option. Okay? He's not better than Aaron Rodgers. So anybody that's saying that, you got to stop saying that out loud. They're going to lock you up in a padded room. So you got to do that. You got to do that. So my man Topaz says all the weapons Rodgers had last year and he lost to Fields. He did. He did. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say it was him. I mean, our defense played too. I hate when people put the analogy that a quarterback loses to a quarterback. Well, they don't even play on the field against each other. So, for instance, if I was the best quarterback that ever walked the face of the earth, but my defense was the worst defense that ever played National League or in the National Football League, it was the worst ever, and we got beat, Does that mean that this average quarterback beat me? No. It just means my defense was so bad that they couldn't stop that guy. You can't do that. You can't do that. So I don't know. I don't know. Everybody's saying, Brother Man says anybody but Rodgers. I mean, you don't believe that. I get not liking Aaron Rodgers. I totally understand not like Aaron Rodgers. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I don't. But I'm never going to listen to nonsense and say that everybody's a better option than Aaron Rodgers. That's not true. That's just not true. And if anything you all know about me, I'm going to speak at least the truth. You may not like it. You don't even have to agree with it. That's fine. But don't tell me that everybody is better than Aaron Rodgers. No. That's not true. That's not true. And like I said, I don't have to like my man Rondon Julio. Doesn't like Aaron Rodgers as a person, says he's still the best option. I don't know if he's the best option, but he might be at this point. He just might be. That's a problem for us Steeler fans, though, to try to wrap our mind around that we got this guy that we don't like, that on all intensive purposes, from things that we've heard, we don't know the guy personally, so we don't know. But the things that we know about him publicly, most people don't like. Arrogant, asshole, full of himself, yada, yada, yada. The list goes on and on. I'm not talking about anything political because to me, that doesn't matter. I'm just talking about your personality. People don't like the guy. Okay. Hell, the leader of our damn team, Cam Hayward, already came out and said, I'm not going to any of that darkness crap. Look, either you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or not. That's the pitch. I love it. But hell, he ain't even part of the Steelers. And he's already sick of it. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. It's terrible. Terrible. He's already got us at each other's throats, and he's not even a part of our football team yet. Think about that for a second. That's why people can't stand Aaron Rodgers. Not even part of our football team yet. And yet, we can't even stand the guy. Whew. Man. Man, oh man, oh man. Topaz says Rodgers is probably the worst case. He has no future, costs too much, headache. Last 3 years been washed. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. Matter of fact, none of that's true. Except for he has no future. If the Steelers won the Super Bowl this year with Rodgers, would we care about a future? No, we care about this year. So stop with the future talk. Costs too much. It's not our money, and we got to spend the money on the salary cap. So none of that matters anyway. We're not saving money by not signing Rodgers. They're going to spend that money no matter what. So it is what it is. And we did, like I said, it's not like we went out and got some big name free agents out there, guys. That didn't happen. So all this talking about he costs too much, that doesn't make sense. So that doesn't make sense. You got to stop that. You got to stop that. So think Rodgers, Mr. Malone says he thinks Rodgers is going to wait till camp to sign. No, he won't. He won't do that. And the reason that Rodgers won't wait until camp, because Aaron Rodgers, if nothing else, Aaron Rodgers is a smart guy. He is that. We don't have to like him, but he's not stupid. And he knows he's trying to resurrect the last years of his career. He's trying to go out on a good note. He can't go out on a good note playing with guys that he's never played with before. He can't do that. So he wants to do that. Yeah, I mean, as arrogant as he is, you think he wants to go out the way that it ended with the Jets? Absolutely not. He doesn't want to do that. That's why he wanted to go back to the Jets, because he wanted to right a wrong. But the Jets said no. So, yeah, absolutely. He'll be in before that. He'll be in before camp. And he would have to be. And here's what I would say about it. Let's just say that is the case. I don't believe that it will be, but let's just say he doesn't sign until camp starts, that he comes in right before camp. The Steelers aren't serious about winning this year. If Aaron Rodgers, because here's the thing, they'll sign him, they'll start him, but you'll know for an absolute fact they're not serious about winning. They are not serious about winning, which half of you to 70% of you in the chat right now would be fine if the Steelers tanked a year. You'd be fine with it if they didn't win. Now, not all of you, but at least 70% of you have said it. Hey, man, I wish the Steelers would just tank, would just be bad so we could get a high draft pick. Okay. Well, that's what they would be doing, because you would know the Steelers are not serious about winning. A guy that hasn't worked with any of the receivers at all in the offseason, not at all. We're going to put him out there as a starting quarterback after being around the team for a month and a half. You would know at that particular time that the Pittsburgh Steelers are not serious about winning in 2025. I said it here. I don't know if you've heard that anywhere else, but I'm telling you right now, they wouldn't be serious about winning. And so everybody that would want the Steelers, hey, man, we need to just go 5-12. You'll see it. You'll see 5-12. And then we'll get a high draft pick. Because I'm telling you that will not work. And if it does work, for instance, if Rodgers comes in when training, just right before training camp, if he comes in right before training camp and the Steelers win 9 or 10 games, there should be absolutely nobody else on earth. And I'll be the first person to stand there with you and say, okay, we're never firing Mike Tomlin. We can't fire Mike Tomlin. If he's a good enough coach to bring in this 41-year-old guy with no offseason and they could win 10 games with that, what are we going to say? Like seriously, what are we going to say at that point? Oh, man. So for one, I would hope that doesn't happen. I never root against my Pittsburgh Steelers. I never will. I'm never going to do it. But damn it, if he comes in late, I would just say I would be okay with it. I'd be mad that they were losing games. You're never going to not get me to be mad about losing games. But I would say, you know what? At least we got a direction. At least the franchise has a direction on where it's trying to go and what they're trying to do. So, Self-Made makes a comment here. Says, the thing is, I like A-Rod as a player. I've always said he was better QB than TB12 was in the league. This would make no sense at all. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is not better than Tom Brady. You're never going to get me to say anything remotely close to that. I think he's a talented guy, but he's not better than Tom Brady. But I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what the end goal is for the Pittsburgh Steelers here is. I'm still trying to figure that out. Don't know what it is, but I'm trying to figure it out. Again, man, you guys, appreciate everybody being in here. Thank you guys, as always. Any questions, rants, comments you want up on the screen, you know how to do that. Help support the channel. Super chats are wide open. So Steelers could win 10 games with any quarterback. I don't know what I'm talking about. You're right, Self-Made, with that Mike Tomlin thing. The Steelers won 8 games with Duck Hodges, with a bad Mason Rudolph that got hurt, and they ended up winning 8 games with Duck Hodges. So if they can't win 10 games with Aaron Rodgers, hell, I should be saying we should fire Mike Tomlin. Maybe I'll go the other way with it. Can't win 10 with Aaron Rodgers, but you could win 8 with Duck Hodges? It's interesting. Very interesting. So, going to move on, people. Going to move on. So, as you guys, well, some of you guys know, I did a podcast. We do a podcast every Friday. And I had one where we did mock drafts. We did 4 different mock drafts. And we did one on, like, if we drafted a defensive lineman first, if we drafted a running back first, if we drafted a cornerback first, and we drafted a quarterback first. We did 4 different ones. I thought it was pretty intriguing. I probably did 30 of those things, man, trying to figure out the best possible scenario for the Steelers. So tonight, we're going to look at what I did as far as quarterbacks. First of all, the rumors right now that are flying around, it looks like the Steelers, everybody is talking about the Steelers moving back and drafting a quarterback. Everybody's talking about that. Is that the Steelers are going to move back from 21 and draft a quarterback in the first round. I think it's a mistake. I think it's a colossal mistake, but I don't get to make the decisions. You know, I don't oppose moving back. I don't oppose moving back. I oppose moving back and then reaching for a quarterback in the first round that doesn't have first round talent. We did that already with Baby Hands Pickett. You know, we did that. And how did that work out? 2 years later, he was off the football team, you know, because he wasn't the guy. And it wasn't just us saying he wasn't the guy. Hell, Philadelphia was like, yeah, this guy ain't the guy. You know, and now he's in Cleveland, battling for his NFL future in Cleveland. So if that tells you anything. So he's not the guy. I like Tyler Shough. I like him better than Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is the guy that's gotten so much better. You could say the same thing about Tyler Shough too, but I think a lot of people saw the ability of Shough. He was just injury prone, but he didn't get injured this year. With Jackson Dart has gone from a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, to now a top 15 pick without playing any football. It's that kind of stuff that, again, we see it every year. Somebody moves up out of the blue who's never gotten good or who has gotten good without playing football games. Here we are. So we're going to reveal what I did in the draft. And we took a quarterback first. So here is a mock draft from Steelers Almighty / Big B, that if the Pittsburgh Steelers were, we didn't move back, we didn't make any trades, just if we drafted a quarterback in the first round, this is what it would look like. Unfortunately, at number 21, the Pittsburgh Steelers would take Jackson Dart. You don't have to tell me how much you hate it if you hate it, but I would hate it. But that's where the rumor mill is going right now. So that's where the rumor mill is going right now. Big pun. Tyler Shough didn't play in the ACC title game last year, my man. So the guy that you saw playing, and the reason I know that, I'm a diehard Louisville fan, so you got to stop that big pun. You don't know what you're talking about, brother. But let's move on. So Jackson Dart, 21. Ugh. But whatever. With the second pick, which happens to be in the 3rd round, because, again, we traded for DK Metcalf, I went DJ Giddens. I said if the Steelers are reaching, and clearly they would be reaching for Jackson Dart in the 3rd round, let's reach again and get DJ Giddens. Now, DJ Giddens is a good running back, people. Big, elusive, fast, can catch, can block, you know. So if this is what the Steelers do, they take a quarter. If they decide to take a quarterback in the 1st round, we're going running back in the 3rd. DJ Giddens. 3rd pick, defensive tackle. We went CJ West out of Indiana. 6'1", 317 at the combine. I think he slimmed up for the combine, people. I think he played at about 325, closer to 330, and that's what we would need him to be. Get yourself back to 330 and go play nose guard. But you got to keep your explosiveness. And if you watched him play this year at Indiana, you saw a lot of explosiveness. He didn't get moved off the line of scrimmage. Again, if he gets to that weight, he'd be a good nose tackle. Good nose tackle. Explosive, can move, doesn't get moved out of the hole. I would like it. I would like it. So let's see. Fourth pick, 156, QB, Zy Alexander, 6'2", 194 out of LSU. Can play off man. Plays a lot of off man, which is just as good as his own. So let me go to this comment again. Big pun. 2 years ago, I'm sorry, Tyler Shuck didn't play for Louisville 2 years ago. So if you want to put money on it, send me your Cash App and all the money that you have in your bank account. You send it my way. You just don't know what you're talking about. Again, I'm from Louisville. I'm a diehard Louisville fan. Don't tell me anything about Louisville. You just don't know. Let it go. Let it go, brother. Otherwise, empty out your bank account. Appreciate it, though. I appreciate you at least trying to be right, but you're just not right. I like Zy Alexander getting back to regularly scheduled programming. I just don't like when people try to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. Fifth pick, tackle, Jalen Rivers, 6'5", 325 out of Miami. 6'5", 325 out of Miami. Hey, look, we're talking about a good swing tackle. The Steelers don't necessarily have one. They haven't signed one in free agency. He would be the guy. He would be the guy. I like that pick. So, and then last pick, defensive tackle, Ty Hamilton. Now, Ty Hamilton he would be more of a 4-eye. He's not a nose tackle, people. He is not a nose tackle. He would be like a 4-eye in that position right there, somewhere in that realm. So this is the draft if the Steelers decided to take a quarterback with their first pick. Oh, Jackson Dart at 21. I mean, it literally has baby hands written all over it, people. It's got baby hands written all over it. Reaching for a quarterback in the first round that is at absolute best, a third-round talent. And we're going to reach and just make them a first-round pick. I don't like it. I do like it. I do like the Giddens pick, though, and the West. I like the rest. That first one is, it's got me scratching. I can't get comfortable with that. So here's a question for you guys. Let's just say the Steelers draft a rookie. Will a rookie QB have the latitude to take full advantage of DK and GP? Like, for instance, would he be able to just call audibles, at the line of scrimmage? Like, for instance, if Aaron Rodgers, would Aaron Rodgers be a better fit to break free of the Tomlin and the Arthur Smith offense? If Arthur Smith came in or if Aaron Rodgers came in, because I think if Aaron Rodgers comes in, he's going to have carte blanche. All that talk about, last year where Russell Wilson had his best game against Cincinnati, and all that stuff. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come in and say, hey, bro, I'm going to do things my way. Yes, I'm going to listen to the play calls, all that stuff, but I'm going to do things my way. A rookie's not going to get that. A rookie, they're going to tell a rookie, they're going to try to mold a rookie into doing things the way they want it done. What's better for the Steelers? I mean, if a rookie comes in, and here's what I would say. If Rodgers comes, the Steelers still draft a quarterback. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the first round, but they still draft a quarterback. Mold that guy into learning and learn how to be a professional and just study Rodgers and say, you know what? I got this thing. I can handle the offense. And then can do his own thing the next year. That would be my ideal situation. Because if you allow Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith to mold a quarterback, we're going to get the 65% run, 35% pass, never throw the ball over the middle of the field because, again, Mike Tomlin doesn't believe in throwing the ball over the middle of the field because, it's more risky to throw it over the middle of the field bad things happen in the middle of the field, so we're not going to do that. To me, that's where I would be. So, to me, that's where I would be. But it would be interesting to see, if that was the case. Now, say Rodgers doesn't come and it's just a rookie and Mason Rudolph. Then what? What do you do? Oh. At some point, those guys got to let go of the offense. But Tomlin doesn't trust people. He had to do it with Big Ben because Big Ben had earned the right to be Big Ben. A rookie hadn't earned that right yet. He hadn't earned, the cachet, should I say, to be able to do things his way. You would have thought that Russell Wilson would have earned that. Wouldn't you have thought that? That Russell Wilson coming in would have, hey, man, I'm going to do things my way. I see where we can take advantage of these fools. I'm going to take advantage of them. And he did that in the Cincinnati game and threw for over 400 yards. Apparently, Arthur Smith didn't like that too much. NFL coaches sometimes get in their own way, people. It's more about doing it their way than just winning a way. They would rather win their way than for you to succeed doing it another way. I don't know. To me, it shouldn't matter. To me, it would be, hey, go out there and do it. If you see something that we aren't seeing and you can exploit it and take advantage of it, then go exploit it and take advantage of it. Don't be turning the football over, but go take advantage of it. That would be my thing. So that would be my thing. But yeah, that's how I saw the quarterback or the draft going if the Steelers take a quarterback. I still believe that the Steelers are going to take a D tackle in the first round. I believe that, or I hope that they do that. Let me just say that. I hope that they take a D tackle in the first round. I hope so. I want it to be Kenneth Grant. Who knows if they still like Kenneth Grant? Heck, the Steelers didn't even show up at his pro day. He didn't work out at the combine. He had his own pro day. The Steelers didn't show up to the pro day. Why? They were entertaining Aaron Rodgers at the complex. For anybody who didn't know that, yes, Mike Tomlin, Omar Khan, they did not go to the Michigan pro day. They were entertaining Aaron Rodgers at the complex. Again, disgusting. Just disgusting. So, yeah, they need to show up to the Grand Pro Day. They do. Go see it for yourself. You can watch the tape. Don't get me wrong. You can watch the tape and kind of know what you need to know. But you also need put him through some of your own drills and see what he does. So, we'll see, man. We'll see. This whole thing is, the man Jason said this whole thing is malpractice at this point. Yeah, it might be, man. It just very well might be. This entire thing might be malpractice. But we'll see. We'll see. How many pro days do we go to and get it wrong? You're right about that. You're right about that. But how many do we go to that where we get it right? That's out there too. It's all not wrong. Everything the Steelers do isn't wrong. Everything the front office does isn't wrong. It just right now it feels that way. It feels that way. That we're not doing anything. Not only are we not doing anything right, it feels like we're just kind of going through the motions. Like, okay, we didn't do anything in free agency. I don't count Metcalf as free agency. I count Metcalf as a trade because it happened before free agency. So I don't count that. Some do, some don't. I just choose not to. But we didn't do anything in free agency. We just didn't. And here we are begging Aaron Rodgers to be our quarterback. That's a tough pill to swallow, people. That is a tough pill to swallow. The only flip side to that is if Aaron Rodgers were to actually play well. People think that he can't play and he's not going to be any good, and for the better part of last year, you would have been right. For the better part of last year, he didn't look good. But down the stretch, he looked okay. So, first super chat of the evening. Appreciate you, Jason. So, if we don't win a playoff game, then it's time to clean house. Get everybody out and reset, from coaches to the old players. I mean, I don't disagree. I thought that's why I was so perturbed that the Steelers gave Mike Tomlin that extension when they gave Mike Tomlin that extension. Like, they didn't have to give Mike Tomlin an extension last offseason. They didn't have to do that. They had another year left on his contract that you could have just said, hey, man, I need you to win a playoff game and get this thing going and back in the right direction. They could have done that, but they didn't. They gave him a 3-year extension, no trade clause. Lord have mercy. So Mike Tomlin's going to be here, people, for the foreseeable future. He is going to be here. And some of you may like it, you may not, but he's not going anywhere. I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon. I just don't. So, and if they can't win playoff games, at some point we need to take that attention away from Mike Tomlin and put all of the blame on Art Rooney II. If the Steelers aren't winning playoff games, for instance, what if this is all Tomlin can do? What if he's just not capable anymore of winning playoff games, but he remains the coach? Well, you can't blame the coach for that. You can say he's not good enough to win playoff games, but he still is employed. And if he's still employed, well, whose fault's that? That's what I tell you, is that, look, we can talk about Mike Tomlin all we want. And don't get me wrong, if we can't win playoff games, that's his fault. That's his fault. However, if he remains in the job and you can't win playoff games, that isn't Mike Tomlin's fault. What should he quit? He's not going to quit. They're paying him $15 million a year. He ain't giving that up just because he can't win playoff games. At some point, the owner has to say enough's enough. So they can't trade Tomlin. He's got a no trade clause, so that's not going to happen. So that's the whole thing. Is that at some point, all the anger and all the frustration that you have has to be shifted away from Mike Tomlin and shifted to Art Rooney II, because if Mike Tomlin just isn't capable of winning a playoff game, like, he'll never win one again because he's not that good of a coach. Let's just go to that extreme. But if he stays employed, that's not Mike Tomlin's fault anymore. It's not. You can say the same thing about Marvin Lewis. We made fun of Marvin Lewis and the Cincinnati Bengals for years because this guy had been there 17 years. Now, he did do a good job because they were the laughing stock of the league. But they couldn't win playoff games. Every year, they would win a division every now and then. They'd get to the playoffs, but he couldn't win them. Eventually, they said enough's enough, and they fired the guy. When are we going to be there with Mike Tomlin? When is Mike Tomlin going to just say, we're going to win? We're going to change some things and go win. So that's my thing. I just, we can be mad at Mike Tomlin all we want. We can put the blame on him, and he deserves it. But if he stays employed, people, you can't blame it on Mike Tomlin at that point. You got to blame Art Rooney II, And I think we're there. To be quite frank with you, I think we're there. I think you're at the point. For instance, how long do we have to go through this? Are we going to wait 10 years till we haven't won a playoff game? Like, how long is enough? And they keep saying the right things. Art Rooney II, well, it's time to start winning. Well, when does that start? When does that winning start? Because you saying it doesn't do anything. Doesn't do a damn thing. So at some point, we got to start winning. And if it ain't Mike Tomlin, it needs to be somebody else. I would love for it to be Mike Tomlin. I'm fine with it. But it could also be Tony the Tiger. Y'all know who I am. If Tony the Tiger can help the Steelers win playoff games and win Super Bowls, then give me Tony the Tiger as the head coach, because I don't give a damn. I don't care who you are. I just want to win. I just want to win. That's it. So, all right, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you for showing out. Appreciate you. Tomorrow, we'll be on the big show. So make sure that you guys show up. The big show. Me and Big G will be there. We'll be live. More talk. Oh, got another super chat here for you. Sean McVay has the same playoff wins as Tomlin in just a short amount of time. But who's the better coach, y'all? Tomlin's the highest paid coach, too. Is he higher paid than Andy Reid? I don't know. It doesn't matter. The facts remain. Sean McVay has the same number. Now, unless Sean McVay starts going winless over the next decade in the playoffs, I would guess he's going to have more, because the Rams are going to be pretty damn good this year, but we'll see. We'll see. That's a great point. That's a great point. But again, make sure you guys show up tomorrow, man. Tomorrow for the big show. Me and Big G, we're going to have some fun. Appreciate you guys. Remember, memberships are available. All 22 entire games are included in that. In my breakdown and analysis, you guys will love those all 22 breakdowns that we do, man. Those are a lot of fun to put together. So if you're not a member, we got 5 different levels. Got to be at the all-pro level or higher to get that. We also have, obviously, the direct chats in here. We didn't have a ton of members in here today, but usually we have a bunch of members, and I always answer them direct when we have all of these lives. That's another functionality of being a member, man. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for showing up as always, and I will holler at you tomorrow. Aloha.